AI is going to fundamentally change the way that we make money, invest money, and plan for the future. And most people are either completely panicking over it, or they're saying, you know what, it's not that big of a deal, I have plenty of time. And to me, both of these are wrong. Now, whether you like it or not, there's nothing we can do to slow it down or to stop it. So the next best thing that you can do is to educate yourself and position yourself accordingly to benefit from it. So in this video, I'm going to break down 3 different aspects: how AI is affecting the job market, how you should start to plan for that and start to stack your skills. Number 2, from a business perspective, which ones are going to thrive, which ones are not. And number 3, which I think is the most important, is how this is going to change our currency in the monetary order as we know it. So number 1, when this comes to the job market, this is already taking an effect. This is no longer a distant future. Oh, in the future this will happen. No, it's already here and now. AI is already replacing jobs. Now, not necessarily AI itself, but somebody using AI who's replacing you and taking your job. Now, we're already seeing it in, developers. We're seeing it in software. In almost every single industry, people are able to be more productive with AI. So you no longer need, say, 5 people to do 5 different tasks. You don't need a copywriter, a coder, a marketing director, a project manager. You might not need 5 people for 5 different tasks. You can have 1 or 2 people who know how to use AI to do a lot of these tasks, so you can be more productive as a company. So that is the overall trend, that companies are going to be more productive per employee, and they'll start using people who know how to use AI to do more tasks and have less people and less employees, and again, just increasing overall productivity and profits for the business. So really, any task that is repetitive or has a clear-cut system of, okay, do this, get this outcome, and it can be repeated over and over and over again, will be replaced by AI. Even things, creativity work, low-level knowledge stuff, so data entry stuff, low-level bookkeeping stuff, even low-level lawyers, entry-level coding, writing, all of these things are going to be replaced by AI, or really, again, somebody using AI. Even things like drivers and warehouse, we're already seeing that with Amazon, UPS. They're able to hire a robot, essentially, to do a lot of this work. So the way that I look at this is, again, this is just the reality. This is what is happening, but what can you do to prepare for it and to act accordingly? So to me, in the past, the last 30 years, specialists were the people that won. Okay, you go to college, get your degree, coding, marketing, copywriting, whatever it may be, right? But you're a specialist in this field. So your skill stack is essentially just an eye. You're very deep on one subject, and that is it. But that gave you job security because you were really good at what you were doing. But that no longer is going to work. So to me, that old path is completely dead, where you go to college, get your degree, specialize. To me now, in this world, generalists are going to win. I think the way that you need to look at your skill stack is like a T. So you're very specialized in one thing, but you also have broad knowledge in a lot of different subjects, and then you know how to use AI to combine all of those dots and be as productive as possible and be able to do as many different things for a company. That might look like you know how to code, or you know how to copyright, or you know marketing, but then you also know business, you also know AI, so you know how to use those types of things. You also know psychology. So you have all of these broad skills, you're deep on one, but then you can connect them with AI, and that's what's going to be productive and in demand for companies. And those are the people that are going to succeed. The people that are trying to ignore it and stay down that old path of, okay, I'm just going to keep doing what I've always done. This is what's worked in the past, so it's what's going to work in the future, and that's just simply not how it's going to work. And the next big thing is, a lot of people think this is, again, very far down the road. AI is not that good. It doesn't know how to code. It doesn't know how to design. It doesn't know how to copyright at a high level. It does, and it's getting better and better every single day. The speed of improvement is absolutely mind-blowing. So if you think, again, this is a distant future, you're completely wrong. So again, just work on positioning yourself, building necessary skill sets, being a little bit more general and broad, and know how to use AI, so that way, again, you'll stay valuable in the company and you'll be useful, so you'll be able to keep your job, or you'll start to stack your skills for the future, for business, for jobs, anything like that. So number 2, which sectors and businesses are going to stay around and thrive, and which ones are not? To me, anything that's really a middleman, anything that is, repetitive, anything that's low level on the knowledge spectrum, I think a lot of that is going to be outsourced to be able to be done a lot more easily with AI. The businesses that are obviously going to thrive and have a lot more competition, or more protected, are businesses that require a human. So almost anything that doesn't require a human to be there, which is for most of you guys a lot more things than you think, is going to be able to be outsourced and automated with AI. So again, there's going to be a lot less employees and things like that. There'll still be, maybe some people overseeing things, but again, there'll be a lot less people in those businesses, a lot less need for it. So a lot of that competition in terms of jobs, in terms of businesses, is going to go over to the sectors where it requires a human. So you can think of physical therapists, you can think of, HVAC, plumbing, blue collar jobs, but even these are going to be heavily disrupted by AI. So a couple different examples: say you're a physical therapist, say you're an HVAC guy, say you're a plumber. Okay, now if I have a problem with a pipe, or I have a problem with something, I can ask ChatGPT or Gronk, or send a picture in, what could potentially be going on. It might be an easy fix. I'm able to fix it on my own. So there'll be less demand into things like that, simply because I can use these tools, but then there'll also be more competition in those businesses because it's more protected by AI. So the companies that do win in these sectors that require a human are going to be ones that use AI to increase the quality of the customer service and increase the, the quality of the human interaction that is there. So for example, again, say you're an HVAC, say you're a plumber, right? A lot of these businesses are very old school, and they're also very tough to deal with. It's like, okay, I got to order, something something for heating, right? And then some guy shows up, it's like, it's gonna be between 1 and 3 o'clock, don't know when he's gonna be there. Then he shows up at 5, then you think you're getting screwed. So it's like, all right, how can a company like that use AI to increase that experience so it's a lot better and more beneficial? So those are the companies that are gonna win and outlast the companies that just do things the traditional way. So maybe that's something as simple as GPS tracking. Okay, we're gonna be here at exactly this time. So you can go about your day knowing exactly when they're gonna be there. Or they're gonna send you a report of, okay, this is the exact timeline, this is the exact part, here's our pricing, competition, this is where we're buying our parts, you know exactly where we're getting it, so you know exactly what it's going to cost, and we're not just, throwing a random number out there and screwing you over because you don't know. So that could be a simple way where you're increasing transparency, increasing the communication, the clarity, all that is gonna make that experience better. Same thing with trainers. Maybe you have a way to record almost every single conversation, or, transcribe that so you can put it into a document so you can list out everything that you guys talked about. So, okay, you don't see a client for a week, client comes in next week, you know exactly what you guys talked about because you can look at your sheet, you can automate a lot of things. So there's gonna be more competition, and it's also gonna democratize the space. So say you're a really good trainer, you're really knowledgeable, but you don't know how to use social media, you don't know how to build a website because you're not very tech enabled. It's gonna become a lot easier for people like that to utilize tech and to put themselves out there. So the best trainers or the best people in all of these spaces are going to win just based on skill set as opposed to the ability to utilize tech. Now, obviously the first movers are going to win in these spaces, but it's going to even the playing field a lot, and the people that are able to use these tools most effectively and combine them with their skill set, again, that's why I was saying before, being broad. So if you're just a trainer but you don't know how to use AI, you're not using these tools, you're not doing things to increase that customer experience, you're going to lose because there's going to be people that are doing all of these things. So you need that broad skill set of, okay, how do I use AI? Being good at your craft in and of itself, understanding business, because you can be a one-man show operating a business with the use of AI instead of competing with these big organizations. That's where you can win with speed and with efficiency with the use of AI. So kind of a lot of different explaining there, but these are just the way that I see, obviously, things shifting. Now, the other thing in terms of businesses, which businesses are going to thrive, I also think businesses that enhance community with AI, obviously with tech, people are going to be on their computers more. They're going to be, just stuck to a screen all the time. So they're going to want to get away. So things where they can then have community, because again, you're by yourself on a computer. You don't have that community. You don't have that human interaction. So people are going to want to get away from that. And I think the trend is starting to come back towards more community, more nature, more, human connection. So a lot of things where, maybe you have a business where it's, a gym, but it's also a community, or maybe it's a cafe, or anything that can involve community. I also think things like retreats, and I also think people are going to start to move a little bit more away from city centers since it's going to be less of a need, and then more into, the countryside. So I think land, properties, things like that in those areas is going to, be in a little bit more demand than normal. So that's kind of how I see things shifting in terms of, competition, in terms of what's safe, what's not, and then how it's going to even alter the things that are quote unquote safe. So a lot of different things. This is going to move very fast with every single new, invention, technology, advancement. These things are moving fast. With the industrial age, it took maybe an entire lifetime for that to really make a change. For the internet, that was maybe 10, 20 years for it to really change people's lives. For this, it could be 3, 4, 5 years where your life looks completely different in that time span. So the speed of time and speed of change is just altering at a mind-altering pace. So number 3, which I think is the most important, is how this is going to alter our currency and our monetary order as we know it. So with a change like AI and the speed with which it will come about, we should have deflation. We should be so productive that we should get deflation. And that is just simply not compatible with a fiat or a debt-based system. So if we were to get deflation, right, that kind of hard money standard, that would be good for you. Your car's, cheaper. Your health insurance is cheaper. Food becomes cheaper because again, we're more productive. It becomes easier to produce all of these things. So the price should come down. But again, it's not compatible with a debt-based system because everything in that debt-based system is okay. It's going to be easier to pay those debts over time. If we have deflation, those debts become harder to pay for both the individual, for the corporation, but also more importantly for the government. So if we're quote unquote $38 trillion in debt and we have all this debt to pay off, it's going to be harder and harder to pay that debt off. Again, same thing for the individual, same thing for the corporation. So we're going to start to get a lot of defaults. And then the only way to save your currency from there is to print money. And when we print money, where is that money going to go? It is going to go into assets. It is okay. We could have inflation. We could start printing money to get ahead of that deflation so that way it doesn't hit. And then we are going to get, again, asset prices going up. So I think in either scenario, the people that are owning assets are going to be the people that are going to win. I don't see a world where we perfectly manage this, where, okay, we have high productivity with AI, which is exactly what we're going to get. I don't think you might have a 10% chance that it doesn't end up being anything that we think it's going to be, but I would say there's a 90% chance that we have a huge productivity boom And if we have that, I don't see the chances that we're able to print just enough money to not get deflation, but also not get inflation and not let asset prices run. So this is a scenario that even Elon Musk is talking about at this point, where he says the only real currency is going to be energy, aka Bitcoin. So there's a lot of uncertainty even in this area, because again, there's really no way out of this that is effective for a debt-based monetary system. But again, to me, I think both instances lead to either money printing to get ahead of it, or we have, you know, a shock, a deflationary shock, and then we get money printing to get back out of it. Because again, if the government can't pay its own debt, what are they going to do? The country default on its currency, or are they just going to print more so that way they can pay it off? They're obviously going to print more. They're going to choose that 99 times out of 100. So to me, the simple way to position yourself is to build these skill sets, be able to utilize AI, and you have to constantly keep your finger on the pulse of what is going on, because things are changing so fast. Before, you could ignore it, and you know, you're 30, 40 years old. With the internet, you're like, you know what, I'm going to be retired by the time this is really even a big deal. This, not really the case, especially if you're on the younger side. You really got to be paying attention. With this, there's going to be opportunity. With, you know, chaos, with the increasing speed of, you know, progress, there's always opportunity. So the better you can pay attention, the better you can position yourself, the better you can take advantage of this. So let me know what you guys think of this one. Hope you guys enjoyed, got some value, got some thoughts out of it. If you guys want me to go into depth on any of these anymore, just let me know in the comments down below. See you guys in the next video soon. Peace.